think. I mean, I get imbalanced like everybody, but man, it took everything I had to just stay in my space. This, I think, the 7/7's a big deal. You know, the new moon, what was
everything is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment, everything is a big deal. It's just the degrees that vary according to where you are and what you are, what you are receiving in terms of coding for what you are activating as an assignment or a role. You know,
true.
It all depends. You know, like before the solstice, you know, before the Glastonbury event, I mean, I lost my voice. I mean, I never thought I was getting to get up in that stage and do anything.
Now, was that the one with Miguel Dean and Rita Melchizedek?
Yes. I mean, you know, I get to the event, I have no voice, you know. So, but on the day that I was supposed to do, which was the second day, just for that hour, I had voice. You know, so, you know, universe looks after you, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
But I had the flu, you know, the bat flu, everything coming out, the phlegm, and I knew it was like this calibration taking place.
Yeah.
Something was going on, and it was, you know, I've been going through so many, you know, we go through so many, and okay, one more, you know.
One more.
Yeah, so it was fun. It took the whole event, though. So I was feeling lousy during the event. And afterwards, I was feeling light and beautiful, you know?
That's crazy.
That's how it is. And now, since then, because it happened before the solstice, really, and on the solstice, I have been really light. So I haven't felt... and on the 4th, it was particularly an expansive day. I don't know how you felt about the 4th. The 4th of July was like...
4th was Thursday. Yeah, it was big.
It was big.
Yeah. We've been talking about it. We're live now, but we haven't rolled the show out yet. But well, you know what? Ever since the 20th of June, or what was that? Solstice.
Yes.
There was a full moon, then there was a solstice, or there was a solstice, and there was a full moon. Ever since around the 20th,
yes,
things started to go up. Like there was a big lull, like it went like that. You know, it was like a crater, and we were talking about it on the different shows. And then around the 20th, everything started to blow up, and then around the 1st of July, it's like right on the 1st. Oh my God, I don't know. It's just like, it was like a whirlwind of energy, just this, all kinds of stuff happening. And I was told on Monday. So Monday would have been what, the 4th, 3rd, the 1st. I was told on the 1st, I was driving down the road by myself and I heard, "You need to hold space." And it was a very masculine, deep voice. "You need to hold space." And I was like, okay. And then as time went on, as I was going through all the shift, I realized they were saying hold space for yourself, also hold space for others and for the feminine energy. But I didn't really understand it because I was going through a lot of stuff. So I just held space for everything, for me and everything else. And then I was telling the people yesterday, I had a lot of galactic. I've been going for walks at night by myself and having a lot of galactic present, but not seeing a whole lot, but actually the clair sentient, right? And then and this is really weird. And then well, there's two things. One, which is really weird, I never had this happen. About 3 or 4 days ago, I started hearing all these dolphins and whales and dreaming about them like this was last night, swimming with them, talking to them. And then the big thing, though, has been these dragons. The dragons have been like, you know, Morgan and I experiencing it together, watching, you know, seeing some pretty amazing stuff, like her turning into a dragon. a dragon claw on my chest. And then last night it was like this, some kind of unification of the dragons. And then I wrote my friend who's kind of like getting this stuff simultaneously that I'm getting. The first 2 shows we did together, Duncan Alexander, and he said he got a glimpse of that too. Something about the dragons unification, sacred divine union, something like that. That's all
Well,
I got.
yeah, but that's a lot. That's a lot, and that is, you know, it's what's really, you know, there's so many players in this, you know, and everyone is getting is activating a particular part of themselves that that are going to be the guiding force for what we're bringing in for this time, for the rest of the year, actually, since things really stabilize from January. The dragons are big players. I mean, I've been switching on sometimes the TV, you know, just to get distracted, because sometimes it can get really intense. And 3 times in a row, you know, the golden heart of the dragon, the same movie. And I thought, wow, okay, I know they are. Yeah, come on.
I know the last 2 days I walk outside and it's light outside, you know, and blue skies. And every time I look up, I see dragon. I see a dragon. And I know people say, oh, well, that's just a cloud, but it's more than that. It's more than that. When Morgan and I were laying in bed like we do every night, and that one was happening about 10 days ago, this dragon, which was her, well, her dragon merged with her, then said, let's merge with him. And then that got real interesting, because it was like a Helios Gamos. It was Helios Gamos.
Yeah, it was Helios Gamos.
With her and the dragon, or she's the dragon, and then I look up, and then there's the long throat and the snout of the dragon is like the silhouette, and then it turned to me, and I could see this. That's what reminded me of this gold, like this gold symbol on its snout. Because that up to that point, I was going, "Am I seeing this? Am I seeing this?" And then I saw that. I thought, "Oh yeah, yeah."
Yes, I'm seeing it.
so what have you been doing? I mean, I've really gotten a lot of inspiration and validation. I know, you know, Yukia, you've sent me so many messages, and you of all people, you know, I don't answer messages. I can't. Somebody got mad at me yesterday. They're like, "Oh, you don't want me on your show." I'm like, dude, I got like over 100 messages. I haven't even opened, but I do watch, you know, pick up energy, and I watch your travels. I watch your courage and your heart and your abilities and your frequency and your energies just expand and expand, expand. And I find it very inspiring. You, Vera Ingeborg, Katie Indicro, these people that are picking up their bags and just going for it. And because I know you all personally, and I've known your journey, which is just like me and Morgan, no money, no nothing, the frustration, the times we reached out to each other, and what do we do? You know, when we try to force stuff and say, let's do an event, let's charge some money, and let's do, you know, and to see you just freestyling or free floating out there is incredible. I know you want to cover an activation that's very, very important, but why don't you tell everybody what you've been doing in Peru and other places? What have you been doing?
So, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and I think the crucial lesson in the beginning of the journey, and it came in the beginning of the journey, was to really just allow and to let go of anything that was creating a belief, another program. Yeah. Or the program of lack that, you know, how is this going to unfold, you know? So the minute that happened, which was right at the beginning of the journey, then everything manifested itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, the arrangements manifested themselves. The people came to you with gratitude, offered to facilitate. The angels came your way, you know, joined you in the journeys that you needed to do, and you magnetizing the right, the people that are have the same that same frequency that was aligned to that particular work, without having to think about it, you know, just you being there as a passcode, yeah. You know, and just and that presence that presence of you with your magnetic field, then because there's no separation, so everyone that was around created little offerings and linked up. So there was an interconnection in the web network.
Yeah.
So the collective field was working through and around, from inside out, from outside in. It was like a beautiful weaving that was taking place. And the Peru journey was a very it was a turnkey, because it was connecting with the earth. It was connecting with Mother Earth and connecting with the elementals, fully connecting with those big mountains, that were waiting. It's almost that they were waiting, to exchange with you the codes, the information, the bundles, the transformations, the initiations, so many initiations that took place from the time of arrival to the completion of the journey. And the journey was really, I had to interrupt several times for downtime, because it could become very intense. But it was a resurrection. So a death leading up to a death. So the realities, the separation in realities were so many, but all simultaneously working. All right.
Yeah.
So in the web, it was this web, this grid, and then they were collapsing every step of the way until the arrival of the temple of the moon, which was the temple of the high priestesses, the womb. That's where the umbilical cord of Lake Titicaca was. And then there was a blending. So you could see those realities that gone, and with all its aspects, and then the blending of it, within. And of course, the death and the rebirth. And it took place exactly at Easter, when symbolically Christ was resurrecting, So those 3 days, there was a death, of this vessel, and a resurrection, almost like I wouldn't even call it resurrection, because it was more like a reincarnation. Back into a higher octave of the collective insight and the collective of the planetary soul, because there were so many visions of so many going through the same at the same time.
Yes.
At the same time, during those 3 days.
Yeah. And that seems to really be a standout over the last few days, although everybody's experience hasn't been exactly the same. But a real big standout the last few days has been everybody's feeling it. Like everywhere I look, people say, oh, I think people that are not even conscious are feeling it. But I mean, over these last few days, you saw it everywhere. And people that are very credible, all of their posts and expressions, and I'm talking about, Amanda Lawrence, Broder Bilal, I'm talking about people that are out there, been doing it a lot for a long time. They were all saying the same thing. And then the other thing that you said is about how this, as you're walking this path, like, or as you're describing the trip, all of these things just start coming to you. And I've said it before on the show, it's like going down the grocery aisle with a grocery cart, and everything you need just falls into the basket. You don't even have to reach up on the shelf and grab anything. It just starts falling into the basket, but it's very difficult to get used to because it's not normal. And your human aspect wants to come in and go, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to eat? How's this going to happen? And you just have to shut up, but, and then the last thing I was going to say, I was going to ask you a question.
Yes.
So as you were traveling, I noticed the unfolding long before I ever saw it happen with people. I would see it happen with people. Like people would say, hey, you want to stay at my house? Or, hey, do you need a ride? Or how can I help you? Or do you need some clothes? Over these 2 or 3 years, right? But the first thing I noticed, and it goes back years ago, In fact, 8 years ago, tomorrow is when I stepped out and went homeless by my own choice and started walking. But I remember always seeing that unfoldment in nature, like the wind, the trees, animals. And so this reminded me of it when you said that about your trip. 2 nights ago, I walked outside and I was in the middle of all the energies we've been having, very much in solitude. And when I walked outside, I went into this pasture that I always go into, which I know there's portals in there. As soon as I walked out there to have my conversation and communion, all of the tall grass started to whistle and sway and move to my left. And then everything else started. And I thought to myself, okay, that's all I need. But it sounds to me like what's happened to you is it's happened with people. But was it also happening with nature too?
No, it was happening with nature, because this, it was the start of the trip was in Machu Picchu, where the conditions were the harshest that you can ever possibly. And I knew, I had no illusion. In fact, we had been warned that there were going to be electrical storms. Right? And the guidance was, you go, because you need to be there at that time, Yeah. All is good. Protective field is there, So there was a buildup from Machu Picchu, arriving at very harsh condition, pouring rain, storm, going up the mountain, doing the activations that needed to be done, with the wind blowing, but blowing like crazy. The whole site in a fog, you couldn't see anything except the place where we were doing. Everyone disappearing from where we were. And then after the rituals and the initiations that took place there that needed to be anchored, the sunlight coming through.
Yeah.
And the site being full of people, like you are in another timeline. You are in another reality, because when you came in, you didn't see anyone. And now you see the sunshine and you see all these people with cameras, tourism, and as an energy that really is there's no link, apparent link, but it was so amazing to be coexisting that energy, because this is where we are. We are in a place where we are doing a lot, you are living in different frequency loops, with your neighbor next door, with groups of people, and you can actually coexist as an observer and a witness, a compassionate witness, and hold your center with all that going around you. And that was also, so throughout the trip, the climate was always first harsh before initiations, then the calm.
Isn't that the way it goes? And I was thinking of the last, prior to, say, okay, so it would have been what, yesterday, the 5th and the 6th. And I remember getting to the first of the week when I got this hold space thing. I remember hearing the period will be from it'll be the 5th through the 7th, basically. And I was very cognizant of that. But as I was going through like the deepest part, I'm not going to say the darkest part, but the deepest part, the where you're really getting down in the root, in the abyss, in the unknown, in the womb, right? In the womb. Mm-hmm. I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be one heck of an elevation, because it sure does hurt. But I think we're starting to realize that now. And even though it's kind of tough sometimes when you're in it, I know I had that conscious thought, and I said, you know what? Just keep going. Keep going.
There was something very interesting in the trip with the 5 elements. In fact, the 7 elements, but the 5 elements, that's the most common ones, were playing a dance.
Wow.
The 5 elements. So you had the wind and the water, and then when we got to Amarumuru, which is this huge portal, we had the incredible heat, like a heat wave. So we had the fire, you know. And then we had the water afterwards, after, you know, 2-3 days, pouring water, you know. So you go from the fire to the water. Then you have the fog, mist, you know. You go to the islands, you can't see the islands. There's mist because you're now entering the ether. So because you are there's been a combustion of energy. So you're going, we call this this level really when we have gone through the elements, you've gone through the water, you've gone through the fire, the Azorah, you know, Azor. And this is when these two elements, water and fire, you know, they turn into fog, which is ether. You know, it's this energy of lightness. Yeah. And so you have a few days like that, and you're convinced, okay, now we are away, you know, and then boom, goes into the water and the wind and the fire. And it was like this until the end of the journey.
That's wow, that okay. So I've missed you because you're one of the first people I really started to telepath with on the show, you know. And so I just picked up this, I told you I felt like the dragons unified, and it was energy, you know, it's energy, it's not just metaphoric, but when you said fire and water, that's the way I would describe it. And I believe that's what my friend said too the other day, Duncan. But so then the connection went to, I had gotten a message 3 or 4 days ago from the Syrian frequency, and the Syrians, and it was the dragons, and then the Syrians stepped in and said, we are connected to the dragons. And it was like this circle, right?
Yes.
And so now that I'm sitting here listening to you, so I have these questions, I guess. One, I know you're connected to that Syrian lineage.
Yes.
I guess as I am too. And are the Syrians connected to the dragons? And what has been the presence of the Syrian star family these last few days for you, if any?
The Syrians are, you know, all planetary races. The ones that are working together for a long time are connected to the galactic dragons.
Okay.
And the Syrians are, because they've done a lot of work in planet, you know, they are connected with the inner earth dragons. So there's a it's a symbiotic connection that they have, you know, with the dragon energy. You know, they've been working with hand in hand with the dragons to actually collapse things, to burn off things, precisely through that fire, you know, energy, and through the water energy, but also through the ability of the dragons to actually operate in chaos. You know, they are specialists in chaos. You know. So they, you know, from all the elemental beings, they are really I would say, their skill set in handling chaos, because chaos for them, and for us, although we haven't seen it that way, is the biggest gift that we have.
The seed of creativity.
Yes, because it's a reordering and a repatterning of things in a very accelerated way. Yeah. And when there is a pulse of chaos, there is a magnetic field immediately that is created. And there's an immediate transmutation and transformation. Yeah. And so they are really specialists, and it's the blue dragons from the blue planet that we call it the galactic blue dragons, you know, and that are the specialists, and they work very much. They serve each other, you know, they help each other in the transformations and transmutations that we needed to have in handling the chaos that has been created by separation in this planet.
That's a great point you make about chaos. That's a great point because if you think about it, if you use the general term chaos, you know, because you can bring up so many things based on that energetic expression. you're right. There is no separation. And when we have chaos, we tend to distance ourselves and disassociate ourselves when actually we are alchemists, magicians, and transformers. And our skill set, you know, I don't want to say our mission, but our potential and our highest potential is to transform the energy of this chaos. And I love what you said, because it's a seed of creativity. You know, it really is.
And we are very specialized in that, actually, as human beings, you know, to transform that energy of chaos, you know, to such an extent that because we have, when that heart, the heart of the dragon, I always say, when the heart of the dragon, because there's two hearts in the dragon, so the brain and the heart, but when the brain and the heart, they unite within ourselves, you have the ability to create anything from that chaos point.
Right.
And it's with trust, and faith. You know, there's this trust, there's this, it's beyond knowingness, you know, it's beyond knowingness. It's like you are almost quantum leaping into it.
Yeah.
Of course, it requires that you are very, very, very present. But what happens when there is chaos? You have to be present.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be in the past and you cannot be in the future. You need to handle the situation that's arising. You know?
In alignment.
In alignment.
This is the alchemy of it. Oh, yeah.
That's it, in alignment. And I think that what I've been observing also with the cycle now, you know, before the eclipse, there's been a push and pull. It's I'll call it a push and pull force, about there's still the polarity where resistance is held and the polarity where attachment is held in this planet, you know, within ourselves and in the planet. There's been so much work taking place in this. Also so much work taking place in us moving through those timelines and collapsing those two things, the attachment and resistance, because it was holding us back from staying in that midway station. I like the midway station, you know. I love you know, the Arcturians have activations that are beautiful, and so have the Venusians, and they call it the midway station because it's a place that you cannot be anywhere else except here in this moment.
Duncan Alexander, my friend from South Africa. The one I was telling you, oh, you should go back and watch. We did 2 shows together. We did one last week, and the one we did last week has actually pulled more views on our YouTube than really probably anything we've done in, you know, say a 4 or 5 day span. But anyway, somehow or another, the 2 shows that we've done, we've been very connected. Like the first show, he went through the same thing I did. We didn't know each other the day or 2 before. It was a individual representation on both of our parts of what was happening with the collective masculine. Then the last time we did a show had to do with the dragons, and I had a dragon episode where the next night after the dragon incident with Morgan's dragon, I went to bed later. She was already asleep. I'm laying in bed, and the dragon appeared on my floor and ran over to me and actually scared me. It had a red eye and a blue eye, had gray translucent skin with some colors coming through. He described the same thing the next day. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because of the synchronicity. And I know his connectivity. And he just wrote here in the Zoom room, Syrians are holding space. Mm-hmm. They're bowing down on their knees, representing an honoring of the sacred union.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we have to pass on our information, each one of us, as we get it.
Syrian. You know, there's this, the Light Council is, you know, is holding space, but the Syrians, you know, they're very close to us, to this planet.
Yes.
So it's like we are their babies, you know, in many ways, you know. So they're holding this big space, and they're magnificent beings, you know. So yeah, very much. Yeah. It's interesting.
That's why you're I'm seeing you up here. That's why I'm laughing.
Yes.
Funny because there's not one of you. There's like 6 or 7 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in the middle with a blue dress on, and there's other aspects of you to the side. It's pretty funny, and they're dancing and stuff. So anyway, the reason I had asked, go ahead.
So this is where it took me. And then the culmination was of course the reincarnation back into form, but the reincarnation back using the new ego consciousness that is now being from a higher perspective has been re-educated, let's put it this way, and using that to ground. I had to actually use the ego to actually ground the energy in the physical body and in the waters of Lake Titicaca, because this was happening simultaneously. It wasn't just about the template of the human, it was about the planetary soul also, that at the same time was going through the same thing, Right. And of course, groups and groups of people that during those 3 days were going through exactly the same type of initiations, but depending on or where they are in the frequency loops, So this was very interesting. And when the waters broke, I call it when the waters broke. And by the way, the waters were blood. They turned into blood. So the Lake Titicaca turned into blood. I was like, I was full of blood. It was like, and these initiations were all involved blood, because it were initiations to activate the eras karmas in men.
This is all coming through now. Okay.
Yeah.
I
so
think
it was very.
I had no idea about that. I had no idea.
33 levels of initiations, that took place, and of course many others at different realms of existence, but they all were pieces of that puzzle, and the physical vessel, that this human template was the conduit of that integration. So I had to relive, in a different way, these initiations in order to then ground it in the physical form, and then wake up the next day as if nothing had happened, strong. I had not been down for 3 days that nobody could move me. I was perfect,
Yeah. Well, so, what is actually happening right now in this moment? I guess this has to do with your activation, because my whole upper chakra region is I can feel the energy coming in, right?
Yes, it is coming in. I can see it.
I see a lot of blue and gold. Blue and gold. There's like a gold some type of thing spinning around. I don't know what it is. It's all up in my jaws though. So I guess this has something to do with the activation. What were you going to do? What is it that you were referring to?
What, for today?
Yes.
I go with the flow. You know me.
Yeah.
I was guided to gift this to your audience and to yourself, because we all gonna go through this, this activation, and that is to assist the transition, wherever we are in the process, and to actually assist in coming together, in assisting the blending of these realities inside, with gentleness and sacredness, with grace, almost bypassing all these initiations, and grounding them. So the initiations are there. They are in a bundle of information, holographic information, and we do not have to go through every single one of them, because they've already been designed. So it's an activation of that inside the human. the human template and the template of the earth itself.
That sounds perfect.
Yes.
That sounds perfect. Yeah, because it only makes sense because, like, for instance, if you went through these initiations or somebody else went through another set of initiation, that's activates or sets the template, so the rest of us don't have to go through the same.
No, you don't, because exponentially we're expanding the envelope, you know, for everyone. You know, that's how it works. And you know, all the glands were recircuited. So there was a recircuitry of all the glands, and the thymus gland was really very activated. There was 3 types of activations in the time of in the thymus gland, and the last one was during the solstice. You know, I really felt, but not only me, everyone that was in Glastonbury felt that. You know, and then the last day, basically after the solstice passed, there was an activation of the action that needed to be taken place. So, you know, this part where your wings are behind, so the between your wings, you know, in your neck, a little bit down. So you activate your wings. So there was an activation of the wings, you know, in a higher octave, and that's the action, you know. Because we're not just talking, we are stepping into roles and we are acting.
Yeah, that resonates. That resonates a lot.
Yes. So, do you?
Whatever you want to do. You want to just
Right.
keep. If you want to keep talking, or if you want to do any light language, or.
No, I think that let's do the activation. You know, because I think it's everyone brings, you know, and shares information, and I'm guided to share an activation, you know, and which brings a lot of information, but in a different way, you know, and so we're activating different parts of ourselves through this. Okay. So just take a deep breath and inhaling and exhaling, and just feeling that you are the creator of your experience, and that you have put your essence basically above anything else. Your priority is the return to essence, and you are grounding that golden tones, the tonality of the golden codes of love, assisting to ground that essence with all your many multifaceted, multidimensional, interdimensional aspects that are experiencing here in this earth plane. And these experiences are held in your cellular memory. So go into the cellular memory, and particularly in your etheric, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. And see what they are. If there's still anything associated with fear that blocks the life force energy and creates this imbalance, or that holds you at ransom in this polarity of resisting to go forward and attaching to narrative. So, getting into your conscious mind, checking also your overlays, because the collective unconsciousness is full of overlays of beliefs, programs, conditioning. It limits, and it can hold this big tapestry, which is blinding to all of us. But it's just an illusion. So being aware of the overlays. Visualizing that you are stepping into a golden pyramid. And in front of you, there is a huge doorway. And you're stepping into this doorway and you're walking into the very center and the core of the pyramid of golden light. And it feels so peaceful and loving inside. And there's a golden glow in this pyramidal light. And this golden glow is a chalice that holds the energy of the Eros Gamma all together. And just see yourself drinking from this chalice, this golden liquid DNA, almost. The golden liquid is poured inside you and it's spread like gold dust into your DNA. Feeling through your body and radiating through the bloodstream, through every single tiny particle of you, through the skeleton, breeding, transmuting anything that is still in imprinting and in overlay from your collective soul, from your star family, from the collective consciousness of Gaia and all the work that you have done, not in body, but yet you have agreed with your contract, with your agreement before your incarnation. So we're transmuting that from the physical body with this golden liquid of fire. Chakataka dukatike tiko shinekora matana kani. Rutmi kinga batingwa hi. Kuamini kuna mana mini kualali. Taking your awareness now to the web, to the network. Observe the etheric network around you, where blocks and challenges of the imprinted energy of that agreement with your collective soul, with your star family, with the consciousness and the huge transitions of Gaia. And just feeling into your body. Where are, keeping a mental note, sensing, where are these? Connecting into the heart, connecting into the heart of the dragon, into your divine self, using the golden diamond energy from the cosmos and the emerald light from Mother Earth, alchemizing it in the heart of the dragon. Ablu kwali kwali kwamani kamnu kwani ki kwari kwamani kwani mi kamini kiniki kandero malui kwali kwali guadamanom madamanom kwali kwali. Use your hands of light, for you have portals in your hands and in your feet. Use the hands of light to weave out, to disentangle anything from that etheric field that is connected to those collective imprints, to those overlays that are still splitting you into and splitting the planet at multi-layers into separation, holding in attachment, holding in resistance, holding in fear, holding in doubt. And imagining that you are now bringing a lotus of 1,000 petals into the center of your heart, and you're being gifted that as the blue galactic dragons are giving you that, offering you that to place in the very core center of your heart. And now activating all the alignments as you have dropped completely. You have completely erased and uncreated any linkages, released any blockages, any entrapment, any enslavement with those groups that you've undertaken to come and clear as part of your mission, as part of your service, as part of your role in this planet. And I would like you to make a sound now. Todd.
Yes.
Make a sound to activate a realignment, the rebalancing, the re-equilibrium of your etheric body.
Okay.
All right? Bruma varu maramanu varamanu varamanu rue medikwe amu alle hamulu alle hamalu alle abramni gni gni. We are accepting that this is transmuted, transmuting it now from the emotional bodies. As you using the water element, and you deep yourselves you go inside a deep plasma, Siberian blue, very much Syrian energy in one of the temples of light. Yet it is so grounded in this earth, for it exists in our template of the new earth. And we are dipping ourselves into this. And we're washing over. We're washing over and transmuting all the imprints from the emotional body connected to those agreements that are collective with the lessons. Yagamani kana kana kidikoin de brikata kata kata kurikini karati. Takashit birikuruku and the sokerata. Kirmara dugrikin digirikuni mini ametu kanana. Tikra aike leke la kashikatrati berketikura akikratu pikirikura. Tikri birikuri tikram tikam. Saber karko. Becoming aware of all the cords that you are now disentangling, connected with the emotional matrix that is entering your expansion and growth. And now activating the transmutation with the beautiful sound of your voice. We're looking at the emotional body, transmuting those overlays and imprints that of belief systems, programs, you know, from our collective group, from our soul group, from our oversoul, from the star lineage. That's what we're doing here, and the collective consciousness. So let's clean Sharabarakita, Radikina, Turibirini, Kamenikina, Taramerakina, Manakina, Taramerakina, Marakina, Taramerakina, Manakina, Atuana, Kinakataka, Namanekatan to King. And we now moving on to the mental. So as we are inside the liquid plasma pool, we are now going into the cosmic ocean. We are spreading and expanding into the cosmic ocean, and we are entering into the void, this total stillness, the total darkness, and all these mental beliefs and constructs and thought forms of the collective body of Gaia in the many transitions that have taken place, of the collective soul group that you are linked to, of the star lineage that you come from. All these are suspended in the stillness of this blackness that you are entering. And there's a frequency pulsating. And you have no fear. You are welcoming that, knowing that you deeply, that you can breathe these codes of divinity. Please activate with the sound the transmutation from the complete darkness of these mental constructs, these imprints of the collective. The planetary soul of Gaia also. With the sound, Todd?
Yes. Oh.
Hamaletta letta lettara quanita manaruya. Tabarakuileleleo shamsim dikre kandere kandira. Samzande kura kanne kandira. And the koikini kanamikana kaingi kori, you're surrendering, you're allowing, you are allowing, and you are expressing gratitude for the opportunity, for having volunteered for this role of coming here and completing this for these groups. That is you are one and the same. So clearing these overlays, these imprints, and we stepping now. Katakatuni kenai kilai kana kwana mai kinama ande kene. Tikara kanikini to kishitakai kini koi makaramanati. Amna karabakai kinustira kwa. Tabarakud. Amla lula bala clean, marakwena maraclean, marakwena maraclean, maraloka maranana torana, torana, apurata nikara, etwana hu, etwana ha, etwana hura ha hu, habmatwaran, habmatwana, habtaranu ha hu. We're stepping now into the star lineage, clearing all the imprints, any residues of any implants or any engines or any devices or anything from the collective that might still be hindering you, creating experiences for you that are outside the natural raw blueprint of your pure light. It's outside your pristine blueprint. You created the balance, created programs and experiences that you no longer need. It might even have created some damage in the body, but they're not supporting you anymore. So sensing this within you and breathing heavy. Bringing in the golden light, the golden diamond light, the golden love codes. Being aware of that and setting yourself free. Setting yourself, I'm liberated and I am free. And I'm ready to collect my true divine blueprint. I'm expressing gratitude to all these imprints that I took on in all these bodies of mine, because they have served to complete the lessons, the expansions, the experiences, the lessons of duality, the reordering of realities, the repartnering, the journey back into oneness, from the parts to the oneness, from the oneness to the parts as one. As inner space becomes outer space. And our body adjusts to the divine blueprint within ourselves, within the planet. we are free and liberated for anything that is not supporting you, us anymore, from these collective imprints that we have agreed to take on. Takashtikita kana makana kana meta ne manika nikuduki ni kana ushitikaratana. Kamna kwara terate saswara tararanarana amneko kamara nanana. Kimichi la kaihi, activating the clearance of all programs overlaid in many layers, in many timelines, and activating the union of these, the highest preferred realities, the realities of the highest frequencies that we are collecting back into that original divine child, the golden child, which is your union with yourself, with your essence. Allowing the ego consciousness now, the one from our higher self, it's merged with our higher self to ground this experience in the physical body and in the body of Gaia. And so it is.
So it is.
Are we? So?
Let me show you something.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, oh, it's backwards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't ever draw anything, but I was shown to draw this.
You know, that's the golden.
So it's
golden,
it,
but it wow, it's
well, it says that the so I was actually seeing the inside of my body.
Yes.
And the blood is blue.
Yes.
And the gold it's a golden liquid, a viscous liquid. So it's thick and it's actually you see here.
Yes.
You can't see it, but I highlighted a cross here.
Yes, I can see the cross.
Okay, so there's a cross and the two dragons.
Yes, and the union.
The masculine and the feminine. And then each one of these on the four is a dragon.
It's a dragon, yeah.
And it creates a spiral, but the gold, I was watching it pour down into down the spine, I guess, into the sides. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I'm just telling you.
But that's the image was read because everything is working, from your inner sun, which is precisely a golden spiral that is inside you at this point here. But once the everything merges in, and all this is cleared from the collective, because we're not talking about personal lessons, and personal anymore. We are talking about layers and layers that are in the collective that need still to be activated. They are being activated out. It's through this movement of this golden spiral, that the dragons are activating, you know, and they're blue dragons, you know, that I hear.
Yeah, see, I just wrote down everything I said. So
oh yeah, oh my God.
So yeah, they're blue.
Yeah.
And then it said that the gold was fire, and the blue is water.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Hariascamas.
Yeah.
I wrote at the bottom. I don't even remember writing that.
Because it's a new frequency. It's a frequency, you know, we call the frequency, it's a new sacred marriage, you know, but it's a marriage, it's an alchemical marriage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
From the fire of the soul that is united, you know, now with the heart and the mind being one, you know, and the seat of creation being the third piece, and everything is in this whole that we have, which is our inner sun. And it's, you know, we basically very much the connection with Ra at the moment, because the the inner sun, you know, is interacting with all the suns through the great central sun, the first sun, the second sun. There's so many suns that are that we are connecting with. But the energy of Ra is the energy of illumination. You know, it's that energy that is alchemizing this eros gammas into being, and to ground it, because it's been alchemizing for a long time. But now it's about descending it. It's about really bringing it and descending it, and then acting upon it, not just, you know, feeling it and not knowing where to move. You are being given an opportunity you have received the codes now, the golden love codes, you know, through the solar alchemy, you know, that's taking place around you. I mean, in the past days, I've been surrounded by gold only, and it's like I've been inside the sun, you know, and it's the alchemy of this that just cementing it, consolidating it, grounding it in the physical body, and to stay, and then so we can then act upon it.
Yeah.
You know, and as way show us of this energy of the sacred marriage on earth.
Yeah, that all resonates. When I was doing this and I saw the gold, I wanted to write the word alchemy, but I knew that wasn't the right words, but it kept popping up. And I realized, so I wrote plasma because I couldn't
because
wait.
you've been in the plasma very much, you know, all those pools, you know, were all plasma pools. They are no longer, you know, we're not in crystalline pools. We are in plasma pools, you know. It's through the plasma that we are, through the solar plasma, liquid light of the DNA, that we are alchemizing this. And then, you know, of course, we go, you know, a step ahead into, once this is alchemized, then you go into God particle, you know, into the Godhead. So there's always an expansion. We are forever in expanding and growing. You know, there's no point of destination. You know, really.
Yeah, it seemed like the gold was what we might call non-physical. Yeah. And the blue blood was physical, and then the two, I think that's where the word alchemy kept popping up, was because the two mixed together was creating some type of fusion or integration of the physical and non-physical. It's like an alchemy.
Yeah.
I got that.
It's very good, very well. You know, this is exactly what was happening when I was in Glastonbury. You know, I had no voice for purpose, because during the event, as the speakers and the people were doing sharing their beautiful gifts, for every single one, I was drawing, like you did now. You know, I was just, instead of closing my eyes, no, I needed to register what was going on, so that it's a grid. It's a grid that you're drawing, that you are, not only are you integrating it, but you are integrating it into the planet at the same time by just drawing it.
Mm.
And then you can just put it up and then just bring in that energy into your being to ground it, you know. So, you know, I wrote a lot of codes and designed a lot of codes during that event, which I then published in my page. And it's the all that coding. If one would go through each code, you would see that it leads to the new couplings, you know. So the last codes were about the new couplings.
Oh, wow.
And how they described it. You know, I was working very much with my Venus energy there. And it was the creation eggs popped out, you know, these new templates came out of what we call the Eros Gamos come out, but the template was of the new coupling, the new sacred couplings, the ones that are going to be emerging and role modeling this new thing, you know. And it doesn't have to be, it was also very clear to me that you don't have to be in a couple for this to happen. Of course, there will be couples, but then there will be also individuals by the virtue of their assignments. And that they will be doing this on their own, you know, with their own divine feminine and masculine.
Yeah, we talked to, I haven't talked to you. We had,
no.
Let's see, I have to figure it out. Probably 8 to 10 weeks ago, when Morgan came back from visiting Australia, we had physical helioscomas.
Mm-hmm.
We went into a integrated, interdimensional, multidimensional state, and the physical body participated.
Yes.
It looked nothing like, I'll just use the term 3D sex at all. If you took a picture, it might, but if you took a video, it wouldn't look nothing like human intimacy. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, it was it was mind-blowing.
My initiation was that when I was in the temple of the priestess.
So it happened, and that's what I was going to say. To your point, the next day, 2 women wrote to Morgan and said, "This is what happened to me last night," and they had it happen to them. And then my friend Duncan Alexander, the one I brought up a couple of times, the same thing happened to him by himself, you know, solo.
Yes.
So that's just
it was by myself, you know. It was
it validates what you're saying.
So we were going through these. I was going to it very rapidly through these blood initiations until I got to probably the last three ones, and then that's when it happened. And that was the birthing of the eggs of creation. And when that took place, it wasn't about the new children. It was also about the new children, because I got, you know, I'm birthing a new project completely, you know, that we'll discuss the next session, not today. But it was about this new union where everything is so different. And of course, the visions of that union, you know, in the other realms of existence, of course, were given. You know, we stepped into that reality to see how it plays, you know, and what the feeling is, that just a mere touch of a finger, you know.
Yes, we've had this happen. Yes.
A mere touch of a finger. Let's say I touch you like this. I have a complete transformational orgasmic experience.
That's exactly what's happening.
Heart through the fire, the fire and the water. You know,
I've had 200 female orgasms in 20 minutes with just her putting her hands through each chakra.
Yeah,
that's it. Just from the root to the sacral to the solar, all the way up, having and then Duncan Alexander told me the same thing was happening to him at the same time. So It's extraordinary.
It's and then I got the very clear message also from my higher self and the collective self of that it was that this was the encodements, okay, that we have been gifted. We are being gifted, every single human, at different stages, because you need to also be ready for that at that particular point. You know, that's why we are being gifted at different points in time. But these encodements are light codes that are coming into our into our DNA and RNA, and they are activating and upgrading to a higher octave. You know, to this, you've upgraded the DNA. It was explained to me, and the visual, because everything is visual for me. So the DNA was upgraded, you know, but then this particular light code frequency, this blast of codes that came in recently, I would say for me in the last 2 months, has now taken the frequency into a higher octave. You know, a complete different, like a blast.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's like,
I have 3 conversations going on right now. I can barely even. I'm gonna have to go outside and walk barefooted.
I think so.
Yeah, I have to, because I haven't. I have.
You have many things going on.
I'm trying not to laugh, but no. In all seriousness,
bring it into stillness.
No, I'm just, in all seriousness, it's a form of ecstasy, actually.
It is. Without taking ecstasy.
That's true.
Without actually engaging in the normal sexual experience.
Oh, I'm not even talking about sexual. I'm just talking about ecstasy.
There is really no comparison. You can't even.
No, it started. It started before you even started the thing. So it stepped in, which is interesting. Yeah, this was a very powerful. Yeah, today's a big day. 7/7.
Yeah, today is a big day. We also opening up these encodements, and maybe I did that for you also. You know, open them up, activated them. You know, validated them. You know, so that they can ground. Because the important thing that I was given, the message was very clear: grounding it, and then, acting.
Yeah, I think everyone. The way I see it is everyone. You know, everyone.
Yes.
Is the spiral, and so that's why this has happened before. Although this is probably one of the most powerful I've had on the air. But they always seem to come in before. Like, I know they're coming because they say we're coming. This is the 3rd cloud dragon I've seen. So I'm looking out the window. So so that's what I was saying, is it's the whole all of our multidimensional aspects aligning with the human, pulling it in like a tree trunk, you know, like a tree trunk, and then rooting it to the earth.
And then Mother Earth's, like, you know, my visual is always that Mother Earth then extends her arms through the great grandmother trees that hold us through the womb, you know, and rock us in this, you know, it's like, and it's just almost dance, you know, it's just a beautiful, I mean, it's beyond words. It's difficult to explain.
Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to go have,
and take a walk.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm just, I got to get out of this chair because I've got to.
Yes, and I wanted to say that my YouTube channel is on. You know, I will be launching I've got many playlists, you know, so you can just share this video directly. So it's Yukia, Azorah, Sandara.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you
Azorah
can
with
either,
GH.
I can tell you too. So you can either we can send you an MP4 that you can upload yourself, or I can't add to your playlist. So if you have a playlist, you can actually, when we put it on YouTube, you can just add it to your playlist. But Huh?
And then I will save it into my playlist because
Okay, that'll be fine. And
I've got
but let
for interviews and conversations, and that's what I'm going to put.
So what is the name of your YouTube channel?
It's called Existence.
Existence.
Yes.
Existence.
And it's basically animating conscious fields of unity.
Okay.
That is
Perfect.
what.
Perfect.
So
any
all the playlists are to assist. There will be tools in every playlist. There's quite a lot of playlists. So there's the interplanetary community work, which is the collective community work that I do for Mother Earth, you know, with the light language groups. There is the sacred journeys through many countries, to many sites. There is interplanetary transmissions, which are transmissions in sound and light language with the artwork flowing. There is a new channel called Nanakia Starchild Wisdom, which is my baby. It's my new project. I'll be talking about it, next interview with all the details. So I have nothing on that one because it's being birthed. Okay, right. Something very new.
Now this is all on YouTube, right?
It's all on my YouTube. It's all on my YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
You can have a look at what is there, and I'll be releasing videos, on Premiere's one, But I have already a big library, so it's there.
I know you do. Yeah.
I'll encourage people to have a look.
Can you send me the link, or put it in the comments? I'd like to have the link. So we can put it in the.
I will send you the link.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
It was good seeing you. I missed you.
Good seeing you too.
Love you very much. It's so beautiful to see you and others and myself.
Yeah.
How much we've grown and expanded.
Yeah.
Since we started doing shows together a year ago.
I know. I mean, I can't believe it. It's only a year ago. And
we've probably done more shows together than I've done with anyone else. I think we've probably done about 8 or 9 shows.
That's another thing. How can I get your shows into my YouTube? I managed to get 3 shows.
We can, like I said, if it's on YouTube.
Yes.
If it's on YouTube, then you can just add it to a playlist, or you can download it.
If it's on YouTube.
Okay. So here's the problem. The problem is that we've done 1,200 episodes. I think 500 are probably on YouTube. Maybe 600.
I only found 4 on YouTube.
Well, what happened was we weren't loading them up to YouTube, and then Facebook only allows you to hold so many. So out of the 1,200, there's only like 500 or 600 available. But you can search. You could, if you or I or one of our team could search, Todd Medina and Yukia, SOULSPEAKS 5D, go back to 2018 because there's filters. You can pull up. I think you can still access them. If we can access them, then we can download them and upload.
Okay.
But,
all right. We'll work on that.
It would take a lot, but I mean, for a few shows, like maybe 3.
I managed to get because I did all that, and I managed to get about 4 from you.
Okay, so I have a feeling Facebook shut down the capability to. Because I noticed that because I used to go back and look for them, and then I would upload them, and I download them and upload them, but they cut it off. You can't go, so I don't know if it was a storage issue or what the case was. But anyway, let me know if you need some help with that.
Okay. Ciao. I'll send you the link. Ciao. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.